And so you open Microsoft Word and you start typing. But after a few lines, something feels off. The ideas are in your head, yet the document feels messy. And so you press enter again, but somehow the page feels heavier instead of clearer. And if that sounds familiar, this video is for you. And before we begin, let me acknowledge something special. One of my learners, Alvi from Bangladesh, shared a learner's perspective after Word Session 1, and his feedback helped the flow of this session. That's how we learn here, together. My name is Atanas from Atanas Inspires. Let's begin. Now let's pause here for a moment. When people open Microsoft Word, they start typing, line after line. At first, everything feels fine. Then the page feels heavy, and reading feels uncomfortable. And slowly, people stop trusting the document and start doubting themselves. Now let me be clear. You are not the problem. What's missing is not a skill, it's thinking before typing. Word is not just for typing text, Word is for building documents. And that shift changes everything. Now, right now on my desktop, let me open Microsoft Word right here. Let me maximize it and then click on blank document right here. And let me zoom this a bit. Alright. Now, when Microsoft Word opens, we see a blank page and a blinking cursor. You see this blinking cursor right here? Now, this is exactly where we started in Word Session 1. In that session, we were not trying to create a beautiful document. We were learning the basics. We learned how to feel comfortable on this screen right here. We learned how to type without fear. And we learned how to let our ideas appear on the page. Now watch my screen as I'm typing something. Now here I'm typing naturally. I am not formatting anything. I'm just using the spacebar and alphabet keys correctly. Let me press enter right here to start a new line. And when I finish a line like this, I just press enter to move to a new line. Now this is the typing flow we practiced in Word Session 1. Do you remember this? It was simple, calm, and no pressure at all. So, generally speaking, session 1 was about getting comfortable with Microsoft Word. It was about learning without fear. It was about getting words onto the page, understanding the keyboard, and typing with confidence. And that matters because that is the foundation. And the foundations are not exciting, but they are what everything stands on. And now that we can type, how do we turn typing into something meaningful? How do we turn typing into a proper document? Alright, before we go any further, let me gently show you where this session is taking us. First, we are going to talk about thinking in documents. Because before Microsoft Word organizes text, the mind needs to organize ideas. When that part is missing, everything feels confusing. Then, we look at paragraphs and ideas. So one thought has its own space, and your writing does not feel like a long block that is hard to read. After that, we will talk about spacing for comfortable reading. Not to make things look fancy, but to make reading feel easy. Good documents don't shout at the reader, they breathe. Next, we will talk about alignments that quietly guides the reader. This is how you lead someone's eyes without saying anything. No decoration, just calm direction. Then, we will use lists and headings for clear structure. So information feels organized, not overwhelming. So the reader knows where they are and what matters. We will also talk about editing without fear. Because good documents are not written once. They are shaped. And making changes is not a mistake. It's a part of doing things properly. And finally, we will build one clear document together. A real document. From start to finish. So, if you have ever typed something in Microsoft Word and thought, why does this not look right, or I don't know what I'm doing wrong? This session is for you. By the end of this video, typing will no longer feel random. It will feel like you are in control of the page. It will feel intentional. And Microsoft Word will start to make sense. Okay, so now you know where we are going in this session. Let's slow down and fix the most important things first. Before we talk about paragraphs, before spacing, before alignment, there's one idea we must understand first. How we think. Because many people believe that Microsoft Word is about typing faster, or knowing more buttons, or memorizing steps. But the real difference between a messy document and a proper document is not the keyboard. It's the thinking thinking behind it. So let me ask you a simple question. What is a document? A document is not just words on the screen. A document is ideas made visible for others. And the moment someone else is going to read what you write, your job changes. You are no longer writing only for yourself. You are guiding another person's eyes and another person's mind. Now, this is where many documents go wrong. People type ideas exactly the way they think them, fast and organized, all at once. And that does not mean that they are careless. It just means no one ever showed them another way. And when thinking is unclear, the document becomes unclear. That's why before a word organizes text, the mind must organize ideas. One idea, then the next, then the next. And this is what thinking in document means. It does not mean being clever. It does not mean decorating the page. It means slowing down your thinking just enough to respect the reader. In a moment, I will show you two pieces of writing. One will feel heavy and uncomfortable to read, and the other will feel calm and clear. Nothing will change in Microsoft Word. The words will be the same. The only difference will be the thinking. Everything else we do in this session will start to make sense. Now let me go to my desktop, and down here I have the first piece of writing that I want you to see. Now look at this. There's nothing wrong with the English here. The message is correct. Now let's try to read it. Up here we have something that seems as a heading, Microsoft Word Session 2. Let's keep reading. In Microsoft Word Session 2, we will learn how to turn typing into proper documents. This session will help you understand how documents should be organized for easy reading. You will learn several things, including thinking in documents, paragraphs, spacing, alignments, and lists. There are three main goals of this session. One, to help you think clearly before typing. Two, oh my God. The words are fine, but reading it feels heavy. Your eyes don't know where to rest. Everything is coming at you at the same time. Now let me scroll down here and show you the second piece of writing. This one here. Now the words are the same and the message is the same. Nothing was added. Can you see? But notice how your eyes are moving. Let's try to read it. Microsoft Word Session 2. In Microsoft Word Session 2, we will learn how to turn typing into proper documents. This session will help you understand how documents should be organized for easy reading. You will learn several important ideas, including thinking in documents, paragraphs, spacing, alignment, and lists. There are three main goals of this session. Number one, to help you think clearly before typing. Number two, to help you organize ideas properly. And number three, to help you create documents that respect the reader. You will also practice by building one document together using Microsoft Word. By the end of this session, you should feel more confident when writing documents. Now here your eyes knows where to start. They know where to pause. Now this piece of writing feels calm to read. And Microsoft Word did not do this. The thinking did. This is the difference between typing and creating documents. And this is why the next things we will learn will matter so much. Okay, before we talk about paragraphs, let me bring this idea into Microsoft Word and show it in action. I'm not thinking too much. I'm just typing the way many people type. And if this feels fast, don't worry. That's exactly how it happens in real life. We type, we think while typing, and we just keep going. Alright, let me go back to my desktop right here. Okay, and down here, I want us to look at this text together. Let me zoom in a bit. Now look at this text. Now let's read it together slowly. A proper document is not just about typing words on the screen. It is about arranging ideas in a way that makes reading easy and comfortable. When ideas are clear, the document feels calm to read. Many people type everything as one long block of text. Even when the English is correct, reading becomes difficult. The reader does not know where one idea ends and another begins. Paragraphs help separate ideas clearly. Each paragraph gives the reader a small pause. This pause helps the reader understand the message better. When a new idea starts, a new paragraph should start. This is not a formatting trick. It is a thinking decision. Now just notice how it feels. The ideas are there. The English is there. Nothing is actually wrong. But be honest with yourself. Does this feel comfortable to read? Your eyes don't know where to stop. And your brain does not know where to rest. It feels like someone is talking without stopping for breath. You understand them, but you are a little bit tired. And this is the funny part. Most people look at this and think, my English is bad or Microsoft Word is hard. But Microsoft Word is innocent. And your English is also innocent. The real issue is simple. Too many ideas are living in the same space. And so now you have felt the difference. Let's give it a name. Paragraphs. Many people think a paragraph is just about pressing enter. But a paragraph is not a key on the keyboard. A paragraph is one complete idea. When one idea is finished, the reader needs a pause. And that pause is what a paragraph gives them. When we don't separate ideas, everything feels heavy to read. The reader has no place to rest. So the rule is very simple. One idea belongs in one paragraph. When a new idea starts, a new paragraph starts. And this is not about formatting. This is about thinking. And once you understand this, writing becomes calmer. And your documents start to guide the reader instead of confusing them. All right, let's go back to our text and start making decisions, not guesses. Our document is still open down here. Let me open it like this. And now that we know what a paragraph really is, let's read this together again. But this time, we are not just reading words. We are reading ideas. And here is the guide I want you to use with me. Is this still the same idea, or is a new idea starting? That's it. No pressure, no grammar test, just thinking. All right, let's start. A proper document is not just about typing words on the screen. Okay, what is this idea about? It's about what a document really is. Let's continue. It is about arranging ideas in a way that makes reading easy and comfortable. Same idea or a new idea here? Same idea. So we stay together. When ideas are clear, the document feels calm to read. Now here, still explaining the same thing? Yes. So no enter yet. Now here, listen careful. Many people type everything as one long block of text. Now let's ask ourselves, is this still explaining what a document is? Or is something new starting? It's a new idea. So instead of forcing these two ideas to live in the same small room, we politely separate them by pressing enter on our keyboard. So I will place my cursor where the new idea begins, right here, and press enter on my keyboard. Already, now it feels like the text can breathe. Now let's continue. Even when the English is correct, reading becomes difficult. Now, is this supporting the same idea? Yes, same idea. We keep it together. The reader does not know where one idea ends and another begins. Is this still the same thought? Yes. Now watch this. Paragraphs help separate ideas clearly. Is this a new idea or the same idea? New idea. So again, new idea, new paragraph. So I'll place my cursor again at the beginning of the new idea right here and press enter on my keyboard. You see? Now notice what's happening right here. I'm not decorating the page. I'm not trying to make it beautiful. I'm just thinking clearly and letting word follow me. Now let's continue right here. Each paragraph gives the reader a small pause. Does this explain the same thing? Yes, so we stay together. This pause helps the reader understand the message better. Same idea. Now this line right here. When a new idea starts, a new paragraph should start. Is this a new idea or a conclusion of what we learned? It's a new idea. So let's again place my cursor at the beginning of this new idea and press enter on my keyboard. And finally, this is not a formatting trick. It is a thinking decision. Now, does this belong with the same sentence before? Yes. This is the same message being emphasized. So we keep them together. Now pause with me for a second. Look at this page right now. Nothing magical happened. No special buttons, no advanced features. Just one decision again and again. Same idea or a new idea. That's what paragraphs really are. And once you can do this, you already know how to build calm documents. Now pause with me for a moment. Everything we just did came down to one simple question. Is this the same idea, or is a new idea starting? And once you understand that, you realize something important. The keyboard is not the boss. Your thinking is. That's why this next part matters. Because different keys are not about speed or shortcuts or typing tricks. They are about different thinking decisions. Now that's why this slide says, different keys, different thinking. Now let me show you the meaning and the difference between enter and the combination of shift and enter keys on the keyboard. Let's start on the left hand side right here. When you press enter, it means a new idea starts. So enter is not just a key. Enter is a decision. You are telling the reader, I'm done with this idea, so let's move on. And because of that, enter creates a new paragraph. A paragraph is not a decoration as we saw earlier. It's a box of one idea. So when you press enter, Microsoft Word understands, okay, new idea is coming. You see? And that's why enter gives a bigger pause for the reader. A bigger pause for the reader. The reader stops. The eyes rest. The brain resets. So enter is like saying, breathe first and then continue. That's why we say use enter when your idea is finished. You see? Now let's look at the other side. This one confuses many people. So if this has ever confused you before, that's completely normal. And today we fix it. Now pressing a combination of shift and enter keys on the keyboard means the same idea continues. You are not changing the topic. You are not starting something new. You are just saying, I'm still thinking and don't interrupt me yet. You see? That's why when you press and hold the shift key on your keyboard and then press enter, it creates a new line, not a new paragraph. This is very important. Same idea, same paragraph, just a new line. And because the idea is the same, a combination of shift and enter keys gives a small pause for the reader. The reader slows down but does not stop. It's like a comma, not a full stop. And that's why we say use shift and enter when the idea continues. So always remember this sentence. Thinking decides the key, not your fingers. If you think first, your fingers will obey. And in a moment, I will show you this live in Microsoft Word so you can see the difference with your own eyes. And now that we understand the meaning and the difference between enter and shift plus enter, let's see them live in Microsoft Word. We are going back to the same document we have been working on. Let me open the document down here. It is over here. Hope you remember this document. Now remember, we already created paragraphs here by pressing the enter key. You remember? So nothing is wrong here. Nothing needs fixing. This part is simply about knowing what else is possible. Alright, now that our paragraphs are in place, let's zoom in a little. I want us to slow down and look inside these paragraphs. Now, this paragraph up here is correct. This is one idea. You see? But notice something. All sentences are sitting on one long line. You see, from here up to here, all these sentences, the first sentence, the second sentence, and the third sentence are all sitting on one long line, as you can see. Now here nothing is wrong, but reading feels slightly tight. Now listen careful. I do not want a new paragraph here. The idea is still the same. I just want to give each sentence a little breathing space. So here's the question again. Is this a new idea or the same idea going on? Same idea. So I do not press enter in between these sentences. I press shift plus enter. How do I do it on my keyboard? I first press and hold the Shift key and then followed by Enter key. So now let me place my cursor at the beginning of the second sentence and then press and hold Shift key on my keyboard and then press Enter and then release the Shift key. Now watch what happens. The sentence moves to a new line, but the paragraph stays together. You see? Now I move the next sentence by placing my cursor at the beginning of the sentence and then press and hold Shift key again on my keyboard and then press Enter and then release the Shift key again. Now, can you see these sentences? They are still in one paragraph. Now, let me do this for all sentences. In the second paragraph, place my cursor at the beginning of the second sentence, press and hold the Shift key on my keyboard, and then press Enter. The next sentence is this one. Press and hold Shift key on my keyboard and then press Enter. And then the third paragraph, let me do the same thing. You see? And the last paragraph, let me do the same thing. And so here, notice this carefully. I am not breaking ideas here. I am only guiding the eye. You see, each sentence in all paragraphs starts in a new line, as you can see. You see, but they still belong to one thought. This is what the combination of Shift and Enter keys is for. Not decoration. Not correction, just clarity. So remember this, Enter separates ideas, but Shift and Enter organizes the same idea. Look at these paragraphs now. It feels calmer. It feels easier to read than it was before. All we changed was how the lines breathe. That's the difference. Same document, same words, same idea. Better guidance for the reader. Now that we understand how paragraphs work, and we know the difference between Enter and the combination of Shift and Enter, there is one more quiet skill that makes a document feel professional. It is called spacing. Let's pause for a moment before touching the document. Spacing is not something you notice immediately, but you feel it. Spacing is the empty space that helps the reader's eyes rest while moving through ideas. Now notice this carefully. We are not changing ideas. We are helping the eyes. The ideas are already clear. Spacing does not add meaning. It respects meaning. Spacing improves comfort, not meaning. It's not a decoration. Good spacing makes reading feel calm, not rushed, not even heavy. Spacing is kindness to the reader. Now let me go back to the desktop and I will show you how to do this in Microsoft Word. And now we are going back to the document we have been working on. This document, hope you remember it. Now, nothing is wrong with this document right here. There is nothing wrong with it. We are just making it easier to read. Now, because I want to affect everything in the document, I will press and hold Ctrl on my keyboard and then press A to select all text. Now with my text selected, I'll go all the way up here and I make sure I'm on the Home tab. Hope you can see this Home tab selected. And in the paragraph section right here, I look for this icon, this one. Lines with small arrows up and down. Can you see it? This is line and paragraph spacing. Now let me click on it. Click. And here let me try 1.15. Click. Now can you see the difference? Before it was like this one. Let me click on 1.0. Back to 1.15. Can you notice the difference? 1.0, 1.15. This is 1.5, 2.0 and so on. Line spacing. Now let's remain with 1.15, but before it was like this. You see? 1.15 selected. Can you notice the difference? The words did not change. Even the meaning did not change. But reading feels better. Can you see? Notice how ideas are breathing now. This is not decoration, it's comfort for the reader. Now, so far, we have been shaping ideas with care. We decided where ideas end, paragraphs. We decided when an idea continues, the combination of shift and enter. We even gave the reader space to breathe, spacing. Now the ideas are clear, the document is calm. But clarity alone is not enough. Now we must keep guiding the reader's eyes. And that brings us to alignment. Alignment is how text is positioned to guide where the reader's eyes, where they begin, where they move. Let me keep insisting this. Alignment also is not a decoration. Alignment is direction. Now let's start with the most important one, left alignment. Left alignment is the foundation. This is where most reading happens. Left alignment is best for reading. The reader's eyes know exactly where every line begins. This is no guessing, no searching. Left alignment creates stability. The text feels grounded, calm, predictable. That's why long reading feels comfortable here. And this is why left alignment is the default for most content. paragraphs, explanations, instructions. When you want someone to read without effort, left alignment quietly does the work. Now let's move to the next one, center alignment. Center alignment behaves very differently. Center alignment draws attention. It tells the reader, look here. That's why we don't use it everywhere. Center alignment is best for short text, titles, headings, important moments. It works when the message is brief and intentional. But notice this, center alignment is good for long reading. The reader's eyes keep searching for where the next line begins. So we use center alignment sparingly, only when attention is needed. Now let's look at the last one, right alignment. Right alignment is the quietest of all. Right alignment is used for support information. It does not compete with the main content. It stays politely to the side. Right alignment feels quiet and secondary. It tells the reader, this is here if you need it. That's why right alignment is often used for names, dates, and signatures. Information that supports but does not lead. So here is the key idea. Choose alignment intentionally. Do not decorate. Alignment is not about style. It's about guiding the reader's eyes without saying a word. Alright, now that we understand what alignment is, let's actually see it working. Now I have another document open in Microsoft Word right here. I have this document. Now this text you are seeing here is not special. It is just explaining what we are learning in Microsoft Word Session 2. Now let's read it quickly. Microsoft Word Session 2. In this session, we are learning how to create proper documents. We have already learned how to separate ideas using paragraphs. We also learned how to control lines inside a paragraph using Shift and Enter keys. Now we are focusing on making documents comfortable to read. This includes spacing and alignment. Good alignment helps guide the reader's eyes. Athenas inspires. Now before I change anything in this text, just look at it. Your eyes probably start from the left. They move down naturally. Now let me show you where alignment lives in Microsoft Word. I'm looking at the ribbon at the top and I'm already in Home tab, as you can see. And here in Paragraphs group, you can see these 4 small buttons. This one's right here. This one is left align, center align, right align, and this is justify. Today we are going to focus on the first 3, left, center, and right alignments. Now right now our text is left aligned. You can see it up here. I have not done anything yet. This is the default alignment in Microsoft Word. And there's a reason for that. Left alignment is best for reading. The reader's eyes always know where the next line will begin. So when you are writing paragraphs, explanations, or anything meant to be read carefully, left alignment is your safe home. I'm not clicking anything yet because this is already doing its job. Now let me select just the title at the top of the document like that. Watch carefully what happens here. I go back to paragraph group and I click on center alignment. Click. Immediately the text moves to the center, as you can see here. And notice how it feels now. Your eyes stop. They pay attention. This is why center alignment is good for short text, titles, headings, or key moments. But imagine reading the whole document like this. Your eyes would keep searching for where each line starts. So we use center alignment intentionally, not everywhere. Now I will leave the title centered because it makes sense. Now down here, let me select this line that says Atanas inspires. Again, I go to the paragraph group and I click on right alignment like that. Now look at how quiet this feels. It does not compete with the main content. It sits politely on the side. This is why right alignment is often used for names, dates, or signatures. It supports the document without distracting the reader. So now, without changing anything else, just look at the document again. The main content is left aligned. The title is centered, easy to notice, and the name is right aligned, quiet and supportive. Nothing fancy, nothing random, just clear thinking guiding the reader's eyes. Now, so far we have been learning how to respect the reader, not impress them. We learned how paragraphs give the reader a pause. We learned how spacing gives the reader breathing room. Now let's talk about something that helps the reader see structure instantly. And that thing is called lists. Now this is for helping the reader understand faster. When ideas belong together, lists help keep them together. They organize related ideas clearly. When you have ideas that belong to the same topic, writing them in one long paragraph can hide their meaning. But lists bring those ideas to the surface. Lists are not mainly for the writer. They are for the reader. They reduce effort. They reduce confusion. And they reduce rereading. Now let's separate two very important types of lists. First, bullets. We use bullets when the order does not matter. You can read item 1 first or item 3 first. The meaning does not change. These ideas are equal. Second, numbering. We use numbering when the order does matter. One step must come before the next. One idea prepares the way for another. If you change the order, you change the meaning. Now, this sentence down here is very important. Lists do not create structure. They reveal structure that already exists. The thinking comes first. The list only makes the thinking visible. Now let's go practical. Down here I have another new document that I want us to see together. This document right here. Now this text is written correctly in terms of meaning, but it's not yet friendly to the reader. You see? And before we change anything, let us read it together. In Microsoft Word Session 2, we are learning how to create documents that respect the reader. A proper document is not only about typing words, but about organizing ideas clearly. When writing a document, there are important steps to follow. First, we think about the message we want to communicate. Then, we organize ideas so they are easy to follow. And finally, we format the document to make reading comfortable. There are also several tools we use to improve readability. Paragraphs help us separate ideas. Shift and Enter helps us control lines inside a paragraph. Spacing gives breathing room to the text. Alignments guides where the reader's eyes begin and move. Now everything here makes sense, but notice how it feels to read. It feels heavy, it feels packed, it feels like work. Now this is exactly where lists help. Lists do not add new information. They reveal structure that already exists. Now let's focus on these three lines right here. These ones. Now I ask myself one question. Does order matter here? Yes. Because there is first, then, and finally words here. You see? So this should be a numbered list, not bullets. Are you getting me? So let me select these three lines. Then I look at the top of Microsoft Word. Here on the Home tab, inside Paragraphs group, I can see the numbering icon up here. So let me click this arrow just beside it. Click. And from the list I can click any numbering that I want. Maybe this or this. Let me go with this one. Click. Now look at what just happened. Word added numbers automatically. You see these numbers right here? But something is not right yet. Notice the sentences still say first, then, and finally. So let me fix it. Let me place my cursor right here and press backspace key on my keyboard and begin with capital letter T, and then here backspace, then capital letter O, and then here backspace, and then capital letter F. Now look at it again. The meaning is still the same, but the document is clearer, shorter, and more respectful to the reader. Can you notice that? Now, this is very important. When you apply lists, you must also edit the words if you are not typing manually. Formatting and thinking always work together. Please don't forget that. Now let's move to these 4 lines down here. You see? These ideas are related, but the order does not matter. So numbering will be wrong here. This is where bullets comes in. So with the line still selected, I'll make sure I'm still on Home tab, and I go back to Paragraphs group, and this time I look for bullets icon, this one right here. So I click on this arrow, and from the list I can pick any bullet that I want. All of these are bullets. Let me go with this one. Click. Now notice something here. There are no words like first or next here. And that's correct. The bullets alone are enough. Bullets say these ideas belong together. Numbering say follow this order. Are you getting what I'm saying to you? Now there's something very important here. I'm not saying you have to type everything and then come back later to add numbering and bullets. You can add numbering or bullets as you type manually. For example, I have some items down here that I want bullets. I can just select the bullets that I want to use, for example this one, and start typing. And here when I press enter, Word keeps giving me the bullets. You see? So you can manually add numbering and the bullets. Let me get rid of this. So always remember this rule. Use numbering when order matters. Use bullets when order does not matter. Up to this point, everything we have done has been about helping the reader feel safe. We saw how paragraphs give the reader a pause. We saw how spacing gives the reader breathing room. And we saw how lists help the reader see structure instantly. Now, there's one more powerful idea that helps the reader move through the document without getting lost. That idea is called headings. Headings are not decoration. They are not just big text. Headings are about thinking ahead for the reader. When a reader looks at a document, they don't only read word by word. They scan. They look ahead. They try to understand what is coming next. And this is exactly where headings help. Now, a heading names the idea before the reader reads. It tells the reader, this next part is about this. So before the reader even starts reading the paragraph, The mind is already prepared. It prepares the reader's mind for what's coming. It reduces surprise, and it reduces the effort needed to understand the document. The reader feels guided. They feel safe to continue. And because of that, it helps the reader move confidently through the document. They know where they are. They know why they are reading. And they know what comes next. Headings guide the reader's journey through the document. Now, this sentence is very important. Good documents do not force the reader to guess. They guide them. Now, let's go back to our previous document. Now, let me open it. It's down here. Hope you remember this document. Now let's focus on this line up here. This one. This is not just another sentence. This is the name of the whole document. You see? In other words, this is a heading. Now let me click once at this line. Just once. Not drag, not double click, just clicking once anywhere in this line. Now I go to Home tab and look at the Styles section. You see this section right here? Styles. Here you will see options like normal, no spacing, heading. This is heading 1, in fact, heading 2, and so on. Now, this line is the main idea of the whole document, so I click on heading 1. Look at that. The text changed its size. The document is already breathing better. It's like the document just sat up straight. Now pause with me for a second. Here is where many people panic. They think, oh, big text, let me center everything. No, please do not do that. Your document is not attending a fashion show. This is the main title of the whole document. So centering it actually makes sense. Let me show you. I make sure the heading is still selected, and I stay in the Home tab, and I look at the alignment buttons right here in paragraph section and click on center. Nice. Now the document is clearly saying, welcome. This is what we are talking about today. You see? Now listen carefully. I'm not going to center the next headings. Why? Because centering everything is like shouting all the time. And if everything is loud in your document, then nothing is important. Now let's go down a bit and meet this line right here. This one. Down here I see the steps to follow when writing a document. Here I see steps to follow when writing a document. This is not the whole document. It's just a section. So I click on this line. I go back to Styles and click heading 2. Now notice something important here. I did not center it. I leave it left aligned. Why? because this helps the reader move naturally from top to bottom. The eyes don't get tired, the document stays calm. And down here I see another section, tools that improve readability. I click on the line, I make sure I'm still on Home tab, go to Styles, and click again on Heading 2, like that. Still left aligned, still clean, still professional. So here is the pattern you should remember. Heading 1 names the whole document and it can be centered. Heading 2 names sections and it stays left aligned. The body text always left aligned. This is not about pressing buttons. This is about guiding the reader's mind. Now look at the whole document again. It's no longer just text. It's a guided journey. So your document is officially thinking like a professional. All right, back to our desktop right here. And this is the final part of our session where everything comes together. And let me open Word right here. Word is open. I will click on blank document. Now before we begin building our document, in Word session 1, we learned how to use the keyboard and mouse while typing. And before that, in the Introduction to Computer series on this channel, I explained how to use the keyboard, the mouse, and the laptop touchpad step by step. Kindly feel free to go and watch them whenever necessary. Now here we are not rushing. We are not decorating. We are building one complete document from scratch slowly, calmly, and intentionally. I'm not trying to be fast. I will just work, and I want you to watch how I work. And before we begin, if you are not subscribed to my channel yet, kindly do so now so you don't miss the exciting sessions ahead. Now here we are, a blank Word document. Can you see it? Now before I type anything, I ask myself one simple question. What is this document about? Now this document is about preparing a proper document. So that's exactly where I will start. Now let me start typing here. And now I stop. I don't continue typing yet. This line names the whole document. You see? And now I click once on this line and I go to Home tab and I look at Styles right here. Now this is the main idea of everything. So I choose Heading 1 right here. You see? And because this is the main title, I'm comfortable centering it. This is the front door of the document. It is allowed to stand out. Now to center it, I'll just go to paragraphs right here and click on center. And now it is centered. And right here I press enter once on my keyboard. Now the next part explains the document, so I need a subheading here. Let me type it. And now I stop, and this is a new section. So I select the word, go to styles and select heading 2, like that. You see? Now I leave it left aligned, clean and professional. And now I press enter again. And now let me explain the purpose of this document in a paragraph. Let me type it. And here I'm still in one paragraph, so I will hold shift and then enter to proceed typing. And now I stop again and read it quietly. A proper document is created by thinking clearly and organizing ideas in a way that respects the reader. This document shows how to prepare a simple but clear document using basic structure and formatting. Now, does this explain the document? Yes. Does it feel calm? Yes. So I move on. Now I'm starting a new idea, so I press enter once, like that. And let me keep typing. Now this line names a section, and so it deserves to be a heading. And so I select it, make sure I'm still on Home tab, go to Styles and select heading 2. You see? And then I press enter once and write the paragraph below it. Let me type it quickly here. And here I can hold the shift and then enter because I'm still on one paragraph. So let me hold the shift and then press enter again to start a new line in the same paragraph. Alright, I'm done with the paragraph. One paragraph, one idea. You remember this? Now let's keep building here. Another idea begins. And so I have to press enter here. And let me type this one. Now same process. This also deserves to be a subheading, so I'll select the line, go to styles and select heading 2. You see? And then I press enter again, and let me write the paragraph quickly right here. Let me hold the shift and press enter to start a new line. Now notice something here. I'm not rushing. I'm letting the document breathe. You see? And now I'm about to write steps here. Let me press enter and keep typing. Now here I will start with numbering immediately. To do it, I will make sure my cursor is where I want the list to begin, and I click on numbering first. Click. And now I proceed typing. And here watch what happens when I press enter. Let me press. You see, Word automatically goes to number 2. Let me keep typing. Press enter again. You see, let me keep typing. Press enter again to number 4. And now I'm done with the steps here. And when I press enter again, Word goes to number 5. And to get rid of number 5, I will have to press enter again because I'm done with numbering. You see? And here let me go to tools that improve readability. Let me keep typing. And let me press enter. And in this case, I want to go with bulleted list. Now in this case, order does not matter. And so I'll make sure I'm still on Home tab and click on the bullets up here. Click. And let me keep typing. And watch when I press enter. You see? Let me keep typing. Let me press enter again and keep building my document. Press enter again. And finally, headings. Now I'm done with the lists here. So I will have to press enter twice. And right here, let me press and hold the scroll bar and drag it down to move the page up like that. And now I add the next section. Final check before sharing. Alright, now this deserves to be a heading, so I select it. Go to styles and choose heading 2, and then I press enter. Then I write the paragraph below it. And as I'm typing here, remember this is one paragraph. So I'm always holding Shift and Enter whenever I want to begin a new line. I hope you remember about holding Shift and press Enter keys together. Let me finish the last line. And now let me go to the final part of our document, conclusion. Here I will press Enter and write conclusion. And go to styles and choose heading 2, press Enter. And then I write the conclusion paragraph here. And now here I stop typing completely. My document is ready. Let me zoom out a bit so we can see the whole document. Do you see our document right now? Let me zoom in again. Let me use the scroll bar to scroll through our document slowly and you see it. And while I'm scrolling, I'm not reading every word. I'm scanning my document. You see? I'm now scanning my document. Let me select this line and bold it. Also this line, let me select it and make it bold. And this looks a bit good. Let me keep scanning the document. Can I see the structure? Yes. Can I find ideas easily? Yes. If something felt heavy, I will adjust. But right now, this feels right. You see? So let me say this clearly. A proper document is not about fancy tools. It's about clear thinking. When you think clearly and format intentionally, your document speaks well before you do. Now here's my challenge to you. Try this with your next document. And if you can, send it to my WhatsApp number showing at the end of this video. I would love to see it. You can do this. Now let me connect this to what we have just learned. We have talked about structure. We have talked about order. And now let's talk about feeling. A good document guides the reader quietly. Let me ask you, does a good document shout? No. Does it confuse the reader? No. It guides quietly. Think of a document like a shepherd walking at night. He does not push the sheep. He does not shout at them. He walks with a light, and the sheep follow. Let me ask you one more thing. Does the sheep need to be beaten to move? No. They follow the light. In the same way, when someone opens your document, they should not ask. Where do I start? The document should show them clear headings, clear spacing, order that feels natural. Now let me ask you one last question. Should a good document be noisy or wise? I think it should be wise. Because a good document speaks without shouting and it leads without pushing. And before we finish, let me say this from the heart. This is Microsoft Word Session 2. If this feels slow to you, that's okay. If it feels new, that's normal. Every confident user you admire once stood exactly where you are now. The best is still coming. You are not late. You are not behind. You are learning, and that matters. With every session, your hands will become more confident, your thinking more organized, and your documents more powerful. So stay with me. And subscribing to my channel is how you choose not to walk alone. We are building skills step by step, and I will walk with you all the way.